The greatest enemy of knowledge is not ignorance, but it is the illusion of knowledge. Oghma is the god of knowledge and of inspiration. He is known as the Lord of Knowledge, the patron of bards, the wise one, the binder of what is known, and the god of wisdom. Or, to his enemies, he is known as the Unknowing One. His domain spans all that is known or is considered beautiful, be it written, spoken, or merely a passing thought of idle, wordless inspiration for what might yet come to be, if only in the world of our dreams. Through legend, he is described in as many forms as there are tales of his occasion. But if he has a common apparition, it is as a handsome, dark-skinned man resplendent in stylish fashions, decked with accessories and accoutrements, or armor that would be better suited to the theatre stage than to actual battle. On the rare occasions that he is stirred to fight, he favors the form of an enormous and powerful elderly man whose white hair and beard cascade around him like a shroud. Though sometimes he will merely appear as a shimmering blue-green radiance, accompanied by a collection of musical chords unfamiliar to human ears. These symphonic tones Oghma considers proprietary, and woe betide the musician who tries to replicate them. In Kalimshan there lived one such a bard named Tansen, who was the creator of the unique, transcendental and hypnotic style of Kalashite religious music, who alone mastered the ragas, the scales of Oghma's divine music. When Tansen performed, the ground around him caught ablaze and the skies opened up before his body was eventually consumed by fire from the inside out, lit by the recitation of his most difficult Deepak Raga. The most ancient legends speak of a time when the world was yet fresh from creation at the hands of Selune the moon and Shah the night, when the Earth Mother Chontia was newly born. A stranger appeared into this foreign land of primal substance and began to give names to the pieces of discordant chaos that floated in abstract around a world that was still much more potential than substance. Within names are power, and by describing the qualities of things, this stranger prescribed their form. The stranger was none other than Oghma, the Binder, an interloper from a Celtic pantheon of nature gods who alone saw the potential for the natural world to become something more than itself. A stone, he decreed, should remain a stone even if one had no concept of it, such that the unchanging nature of material things might make room for the mind to wander further afield and to conceive of that which shall one day become real, as it too is given name. Such is the interplay of knowledge and of inspiration. For from potential springs forth reality, and from reality, potential springs eternal. It is only because of Oghma's inspired vision that all of mortal civilization and achievement was made possible. While Oghma comes across as lively and carefree. In every act he is deeply conservative. Indeed, his path is to reduce possibility down to a single thing. And as he breathes in dreams, with every exhale he creates and defines tradition, whose rigid oppression, in turn, inspires more rebellious dreams for his sustenance, and so on it goes, eternally. Through his powers of charismatic persuasion, tempered by millennia of tradition, he becomes the sole arbiter of which inspired ideas may yet join the zeitgeist, and which shall by his invisible hand die with their creator, lest they challenge the meaning of names that he has deigned worthy of keeping. Thus he will tend to favour those ideas that he has spent an eternity fostering, rather than to shake the status quo. Combined with a tendency to overthink and to spend ages deliberating rather than acting, one might very well regard Oghma as a hindrance to change, rather than as the source of all new ideas. From his time among the warrior gods of Celtic lands, Oghma became an expert wrestler from his bouts against the giants. And he likes to use the sport as an exercise to teach disciples about the fluidity of action, and that even brutish things may contain beauty and art. Sometimes he will even lend out his personal musical instrument to followers, an enchanted yachting, being a stringed instrument somewhere between a lute and a harp, which can, by his will, create any sound, even a whole orchestra in symphony, and its sacred vibrations may draw out any emotion from the listener. Being among the most powerful gods of knowledge, second only to Mystra, the Lady of Magic, if one were to compare apples and oranges, Oghma is the leader of a collection of divine beings known as the deities of knowledge and invention, with 3 gods serving beneath him. His right hand is Denia, the god of writing, and the two work very well together, functionally equal, despite the implicit power balance in their relationship. His left hand is Melil, the god of music, who is also known as the one true hand, based on the idea that art is the purest expression of truth, leaving only the antagonistic Gawd, the god of craftsmen, who is the black sheep among the group. But although the Wonderbringer sows discord among his companions by his propensity to seek technological innovation without introspection or regard for the consequences, Oghma admires Gon's creativity greatly, and he appreciates the chance for a robust debate upon the ethics of knowledge and progress. Oghma is also allied with Mystra, the Lady of Magic, and Lathander, the Morning Lord, who represents creativity and rebirth. Though Lathander will, at times, regard Oghma's influence over mortals in support of the status quo as stifling and bordering on the manipulative. While Lyra, the goddess of joy, she spends so much time around Melil and Denia that some may mistake her for one of Oghma's kin. Further afield, he also keeps good relations with the Mulhorandi god Thoth of scribes, plus Labalus Enerath, the elven god of learning, Cyril-Ali, the halfling god of crafts, and Dugmar Brightmantle, the dwarven god of scholars. His enemies include those gods who seek to steal, to hide, and to distort the truth, or to destroy it entirely, such as Talos, the god of destruction, Mask, the god of thieves, or Bane, the god of tyranny. But he reserves a particular grudge for Cyric, the god of lies, who once lured away 22 of Oghma's demigod children and turned them into magical paintings known as the Whispering Children. Oghma's realm lies at the center of the planar wheel in the liminal realm known as the Outlands, and within it the Celtic promised land of eternal youth known as Tir na Nog. There his followers receive their afterlife in the House of Knowledge, a land of rolling, forested hills, of secluded houses, of quiet study, and shifting magical pools of pure water, whose draughts bestow knowledge of art, of poetry, of language, and of music, all to the sweet, subtle melodies of harp music that hang in the air. As part of his portfolio, Oghma can sense any new idea or creative expression, anywhere in the world, for up to 160 days before and after the event. He can also answer any question put to him, and knows the true name of every mortal creature in the world, by which he can control their actions or cause them to die. He can also force demons and devils into prisons through his true name magic. And likewise, he possesses extensive psionic and magical abilities and is immune to all magic that influences the mind, while the sound of his voice charms all non-divine beings who hear him speak. Oghma is a greater deity, and among the most powerful of their kind. His true neutral alignment represents his unilateral status as a self-proclaimed neutral arbiter over all mortal potential. His clerics most commonly assume the knowledge domain, and are granted the power to turn and to destroy undead. His chosen weapon is a magical longsword known as Mortal Strike, whose name he may speak aloud to cause it to appear in his hand, while his divine casters all train in the longsword, and many bestow names upon their blades as well. His holy time is in the morning, and his followers pray for spells during a morning ritual known as the Binding, where they transcribe mystic symbols in a silent prayer. Besides this, they also engage in a purely ceremonial evening ritual known as the Covenant, involving the sharing of wisdom, of song, and of knowledge learned throughout the day. His followers are known as Oghmanites, and include folk from every walk of life. Indeed, anyone seeking information or lost knowledge may speak a prayer to the Binder. His most devoted include those who traffic in knowledge and creativity daily, such as bards, artists, clerks, librarians, scholars, craftspeople, and wizards. Many metallic dragons also follow the Lord of Knowledge, as do intelligent golems, ghosts, and even some beholders. Some even claim that whales praise Oghma, for are not their memories long, and their songs the most beautiful of the sea. His religion is particularly common in the Dale Lands, in Cormia, Sembia, the Western Heartlands, Silvery Moon, Waterdeep, the Vast, and the Shah. Stories tell also of his worship existing beneath the sea of fallen stars, among the Sea Elves, the Tritons, and the Merfolk. The Oghmanite Church celebrates Midsummer and Shieldmeet as their greatest festivals, the latter being a leap year calendar day that only appears once every 4 years, for both of these holidays are associated with the renewal of contracts and the making of bonds through written or through verbal accord. When a follower first joins the faith or reaches 12 years of age, they undergo a ritual called the naming, where their secret, true name is revealed to them. This name is shared with no one except with Oghma in prayer, for they believe that anyone who knows and speaks their true name has power over their pure essence of being. His priesthood are known as either lawmasters or as namers. Their order is led by a great patriarch who acts as Oghma's mortal voice, from the city of Procampur within the Vast. But Sembia has also put forth their own great patriarch, causing a factional schism within the faith. Regardless of politics, the church carries on in its administrative duties and is famed for the accuracy of their maps sold to merchants and adventurers, for a small donation, of course. All lawmasters are expected to publish a book of some variety and to personally donate copies of it to at least 3 Oghmanite temples. This practice serves well to cause dusty scholars to leave their own academic circles and to expose themselves to new ideas out in the wider world. Though many namers, particularly those who multiclass as bards, believe that the purest form of knowledge lies in the first-hand experience of things, and therefore travel the world in search of new sensations that may set their sense of inspiration ablaze. In my world, the divine spell plague saw a reversal of the relationship between Lathander and Oghma. The Lord of Knowledge witnessed the vast tragedy of civilizational collapse as, in the absence of gods, humanity turned against the temples and the churches, burning much vital lore in a feverish frenzy of abandoned hope. So much was lost that may never be recovered, that the trauma felt by his followers seems to have affected even the gods, such that when divine power was restored, his followers found Oghma to be changed. His alignment had become neutral good rather than true neutral, and returning to his Celtic roots, he sent Fae as well as Celestials as agents to answer prayer. But most meaningfully, his conservative veneer has burnt away like the pages of his lost books, as he came to understand at last that the status quo means nothing if it does not produce material happiness. While in contrast it was the willingness of Lathander's church to innovate and to experiment that revolutionized prayer into a collective expression of human will that is capable of restoring the connection to the gods, rather than leaving it as an individual relationship with divinities. And it was this discovery that saved the world. So now it is the Inquisition, being the new cult of the Morning Lord, that is left in charge of the administration of society and the protection of this new religious community from outside ideas, leading to their gradual retreat away from their own founding principles into conservatism and caution. Today, the vast majority of Oghma's faithful take a broader, more holistic view of knowledge. They assign increasing value to the diversity of tactics that it takes to grow knowledge through many hands at work. Thus, this new intersectionality of perspectives demands a greater understanding of the merits as well as the limitations of the subjective, the lived experiences, and demands exploration of aesthetic as well as empirical knowledge. For indeed, to allow a single arbiter over knowledge is antithetical to the processes of creative endeavor that drive discovery. Only the fading great patriarch of the vast, high in his traditional seat of power, still clings to the shadows of dead empires, siding with the worst elements of the Inquisition and driving wedges between generations. He refuses to move with the world and with the stars. The religious dogma of the Oghmanite faith is as follows. Knowledge reigns supreme upon the throne of ideas. Ideas are insubstantial, and yet they are the greatest gift of humanity, moving the mountains themselves. Knowledge is powerful, and thus it must be wielded with care, but never hidden away from the world. Let all new ideas be heard, even if they seem false to your ears. Never slay a singer, or stand idle as others do. Spread knowledge whenever it is wise to do so. Work against the spreading of falsehoods and disprove rumors wherever you find them. Write or copy some text of law at least once a year and give it away freely. Sponsor and teach others to become bards, scholars, and keepers of records. Speak the truth and deliver it far and wide to elevate all folk through the gift of knowledge. Never distort a message in its delivery. And finally, if your time permits you to teach others the art of reading and writing, then you should turn away no willing pupil and charge them nothing for the gift of knowledge.